How is it going, everyone? It's Cable Lumber here, and today we are going to be talking about a PS2 game. We are talking about Madagascar for the PlayStation 2. I grew up with 3D platformers. I love 3D platformers, so whenever I get to play one that I've never played before, I always get a little bit excited, and that was the case with this game, and I'm glad to say that it did not disappoint. Now, to be fair, I didn't really have any expectations going into this game because it was kind of just a blind buy. I just saw it for like $6 and I was just like, oh, it's Madagascar. I watched that movie once. So I picked it up and I got to play through it. And I gotta say though, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. The platforming is very well done. All of the levels are very well done. I enjoy the different levels that they have. You start off in New York City, escaping the zoo in New York City and going to Madagascar, just like in the movie. And you have to escape Madagascar and go back to New York. And that's the whole story. And the levels to get to point A to point B are phenomenal, and I absolutely enjoyed every single second of it. And one thing I really like is that I like platformers that let you play as more than one character. So, for example, SpongeBob Battle for the Bikini Bottom lets you play as SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy Cheeks. You know, there's the Donkey Kong 64 that lets you play as multiple characters. Stuff like that. I enjoy games that let you play as more than one character, and this one lets you play as the four protagonists. It lets you play as Marty the zebra. It lets you play as the lion, whose name I can't think of. Alex the lion. I remember now. It lets you play as Gloria. It lets you play as Melvin the giraffe, I think that's his name. It lets you play as all those characters, and each one has their own unique abilities and unique things that they can do. And it just makes for a lot more fun for the game because, you know, you have to go swap out certain characters if you want to do certain challenges to get into certain areas on each level. And to collect certain items you need to swap to a certain character. And I like that stuff. It's platforming goodness, and it's always nice to have multiple characters to play as because it just feels like you have different tactics to be able to accomplish what you need to do. And like I said, the levels are great. I love the level designs. Some of my favorite levels are the ones where you're just trying to gather the collectibles that you need. Like, there's some levels where it's just like, okay, get to point A to point B. You know, you can collect coins along the way, and you can spend coins in the little gift shop that they have in the game. But the whole point of the level is to get to point A to point B. And then there's some levels that are just basically collectathons, where it's like, okay, collect all of this stuff, and then the level will end. And I always like the collectathon levels the most because it's kind of like a scavenger hunt in a way. It's like, hey, try to find all these areas, try to find all these different, mini games that you need to complete, try to find all these missing pieces, and they may be high up in an area where you have to use a specific character to, like, get over to it, and you have to figure out which character it is and which character you need to get over to that area. And I just like that scavenger hunt feel. It reminds me a lot of the older platformers that I played back in the day because of that whole, collectathon mentality of just try to figure out how to collect things, try to figure out how to get to point A to point B, try to figure out how to get what you need to finish the level, and I like that type of stuff. But the gameplay's phenomenally as well. I never had any issue with any bugs or any issue with any actual problems with the slowdown or anything like that. This game played fine. It played perfectly fine. It was actually a really fun time. There's even some kind of stealth areas in this game where you kind of have to hide from zookeepers and stuff. And even that stuff, usually I don't like stealth sections in video games, but it actually was pretty well done in this game because it wasn't over the top, super strict about how you had to play through the area. It was just like, okay, hide from the light, and as soon as the person turns around, kick a trash can into them. And, it's stuff like that. But yeah, all of this game played really well, and I really did enjoy it. The game looks pretty good for a PS2 game as well. And the voice acting is actually really good for this game, too. I actually really like the voice acting for it. And something else I did want to point out is that there's actually a lot of good music in this game. And there's mini games where you can unlock these mini games that let you basically do kind of it's kind of like Dance Dance Revolution, I guess, but it's just pushing the buttons at the correct time. It's like rhythm games, basically for the soundtrack of this game. There's a mini game that lets you play through the soundtrack, and you can pick the song you want to play, and then you get the little rhythm mini game if you want. It's completely optional, but it's nice that they include little extras like that. There's actually a mini golf extra that they have where you can just go and play mini golf. There's a shuffleboarding extra mini game that they have. And they're all optional. You don't have to play them, but they are there, and you can unlock them if you collect enough coins in the level and go to the gift shop. And the other stuff that's in the gift shop is pretty much all like cosmetic stuff. I can get glasses from Marty and stuff like that. You can get some of the, like, you can get burning footprints, so your character will leave like fire footprints behind them and stuff like that. You can get extra health, and you can get like coin magnets, so coins will just fly to your character when you walk by them instead of you actually having to go and pick them up. So it's just stuff like that in the gift shop, and it just makes for a little bit more, you know, it gives you more incentive to go and collect the coins in each level to just kind of get some things that can help you out, some things that can help you get more coins, and some things that can help you unlock more mini games and just more extras and stuff like that. This good old extra content that was there that you didn't have to, you know, worry about paying. Like if it was content in the game these days, you probably have to pay for it. But, you know, back in the day, hey, free cosmetics, awesome. But anyway, I love this game. It's a lot of fun. Even in the early levels too, I did want to point out is that even in the early levels, when you're still in New York, you can find these arcade machines, and there's these little arcade games you can play in the actual game itself, and they're actually pretty fun. I actually enjoyed pretty much all of them. So even in this huge 3D platforming game, and there's quite a few levels in it, even in this 3D platforming game where there's quite a few levels to play through, there's still additional content with all these mini games that they have in it, and that's great. I love that they put so much effort into just giving you tons and tons of playability and tons of play value. I think that's awesome. And like I said, I picked this game up for like $6, and I think if you can find it for around that price, that is a great deal. Pick it up, play it. Honestly, even $10 if you pick up for $10, I think you're going to have a fun time with this game. So definitely check out Madagascar. If you're a fan of the movie, I think that you'll probably like this. I'm not necessarily a fan of the movie. I'm familiar with the movie, but I'm not a fan of the movie, and I still enjoy this game quite a bit. So definitely go check out Madagascar. You will love it. It's a lot of fun. And also, if you like the Penguins of Madagascar, which is what I actually was a fan of, I grew up with the Penguins of Madagascar, watching that on TV. There is a level dedicated to the Penguins, which is awesome as well. It's like a whole, like, you know, tactical kind of level where you're actually like trying to basically commandeer a boat, and I really like that level. But thank you guys for watching. Go check out Madagascar on the PS2. It's definitely worth your time, and I'll talk to you in the next video. You have a wonderful day. Bye bye.